Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Italy, a place to love YouTube channel. So, thank you all for watching my videos, thanks for putting like and thanks for subscribing. So, today I'm going to make another video about the expat expectations and at the same time the problem that the expats are facing with the Italian bureaucracy. Now, this is a very hot topic, and I think Italian bureaucracy is one of the things that interest most the people who would like to move to Italy or to experience, for example, the opportunity to move to this country, to this beautiful country. And now let's read this post on Facebook about the driving license. Now, this for me is a hot topic, the driving license. Let's read the post. Now, this person who wrote the post is Italian, is married with a British citizen, because now UK is not anymore part of the EU, so with the Brexit, many British are facing bureaucratic problems, with the Italian bureaucracy, and so now they are trying to solve the problems. I'm reading this post because it's also related with something that has happened to me recently, and then I will tell you while I'm reading post and the comment. Now, this Italian woman says, "Celebration did not last long and now we are back to reality. Yes, my husband got his permesso di soggiorno, but now we have his driving license to sort. We are aware of the post-Brexit agreement, but we keep banging the head against the same stupid door. We'll try to explain, and please, if you have had the same problem, help us," and so on. My husband's British driving license under place of birth only says United Kingdom and does not indicate the specific city where he was born. Now, I'm not familiar with the British driving license. Now, the thing is this, the issue is this. She keeps saying that his British passport, his Italian working visa, his Italian identity card, his permesso di soggiorno, his birth certificate, all these documents are indicating the place where he was born. But that's not enough for the motorizzazione. So, motorizzazione is the motor office in Italy. They still want these so-called concordanze dati. So, concordanze dati means that the data on the documents have to match, okay, that should be released from the British Embassy in Italy, stating that the person in the passport and the person indicated in the driving license are the same person. Now, according to me, this woman, she already answered to herself, because if in motorizzazione or the school driving license or ACI is ACI, which is an institution that you can find in any town, that they solve bureaucratic problems with the cars, everything that is related with the cars. So if they are telling you that, they need a paper from the British Embassy, so get this paper, go to motorizzazione or to the school driving license, and so on, and you will get your Italian driving license. So you will easily convert the British with the Italian. Now, she said, we tried 2 school driving license, 1 ACI office, ACI, in Italian we say ACI, and they all said the same. So they're all saying that she needs these papers from the embassy. We are going to call the embassy tomorrow and try to explain this, even if it does not make sense. I know that doesn't make sense. This is the point. That's why I'm making this video, because unfortunately in Italy 90% of the bureaucracy doesn't make sense at all. For me, by my experience, it's all a mess. If you're lucky, then anyway, I've been personally lucky, so I can say with my wife documents, Now I'm having an issue, for example, with my driving license, and they will explain you. So even if I'm Italian, I feel so frustrated with this system. So she's Italian, I'm Italian, we are so frustrated. And she feels sorry for her husband, who keeps experiencing the nonsense of so many different things that make our life here so difficult. Thanks for any help and for any encouraging words. Okay, now let me read some of the answers under her post, so some comments. Someone says, for example, have you tried seeking help from your nearest motorizzazione office directly? Motorizzazione in Italy is motor office. What is a motor office? I believe in UK or in Ireland or in the United States. Ours, motorizzazione in La Spezia, were really helpful when my wife and I exchanged our UK license last year. So these are British. They exchanged their driving license from the British to the Italian because they relocate, and they didn't experience big problems. Actually, they say that motorizzazione, the motor office, was quite helpful. So then who wrote the post say, yes, we tried one of their office, unfortunately they were not very helpful. So one person having the same issue went to one office and they happily solved him his problem. Another person might have the same problem, going to another office and faces different issues. So they might not be friendly, they might not be helpful, so it's about being lucky in this country. This is what I've noticed. Let me open a little window about my issue now with my driving license. So basically, because I've been living for the last 16-17 years in Ireland, back in 2009 I converted my Italian driving license with the Irish driving license. So I came to Italy now 1 year ago, and obviously I wanted to drive without having any issues. And one of the first things I've done was to go to the Italian local police and ask, listen, can I drive with this driving license? And they told me, yes, it's a European driving license, you don't even need to exchange this driving license. I don't know, I wasn't 100% sure. Anyway, they told me that everything was fine. I took it for granted, I mean, I took it as a good explanation, and so I kept driving with with my Irish driving license. Thankfully, I never been stopped by any police while I was driving, but then something inside of me was telling me that this was wrong, and so 2 months ago I decided to go to one of these offices, the ACI, in the nearest town, because my motorizzazione is in Potenza. It takes me 1 hour 15 minutes, 1 hour and a half to drive to Potenza, so I decided to go to this office. I'd rather pay a little extra amount of money on top, simply to have my problem sorted, to exchange my driving license. So everything is fine. In this office they told me that I'm allowed only to drive 1 year with this driving license, so since I put my residence, I registered my residency here in Italy, that was the end of July, so I had time till next July to drive with my driving license. So it was good for me something was telling me, Antonio, go to one office and explain the situation. So they told me, Antonio, you had 1 year, you had to change your driving license. Okay, we start all the procedures to reconvert my Irish driving license into Italian. I took my driving license in Italy. In the beginning, even I had to bring some documentation. I was lucky that I still had the documentation that I brought from Italy to Ireland, so I simplify a bit the things. Then this man, one day, he went to the motorizzazione with all my papers. He went at the desk of the motorizzazione in Potenza and said, listen, there is this man who has to convert his Irish driving license to the Italian. Should be an easy process. Nothing. The woman at the desk said, Ireland is not part of EU. And he was saying, you know, but listen, look at the driving license. There is the flag of the EU. And she kept repeating to him, listen, this is not, Ireland is not EU, we cannot convert this driving license. To be converted has to be translated. Obviously, the Irish driving license is written in Irish. But then also there is also on the same driving license the British, the English translation for all the points on the driving license. So he left, he called me and said, Antonio, listen, we have to do an extra step, we need to translate your driving license. But he said, I'm not sure, come on, Ireland is part of EU. Then the day after he called this motorizzazione, and in the end he said to this woman at the desk by phone, he said, but listen, you are wrong, I double check, triple check, Ireland is part of EU, so should be an easy convert. And then the woman apologized and said, yes, I was wrong, because he asked my man working for this company here, and he called the woman, said, listen, you are wrong, please do me a favor, double check again, because it's impossible, Ireland is part of EU. Anyway, then at the end, finally, so do we understand that everything was in the hands of a person who is not aware of the things? And this is the problem, this is one of the biggest problems that we might face when we are facing the bureaucracy in Italy. This is one of the biggest problems, that the person that we might refer when we go to an office might not be aware, might not know all the regulation, maybe they never face this type of issue, so they just invent themselves. Then, anyway, you need to find a way, in a way or in another. I was lucky that my man from ACI, he investigated anyway. There's nothing to investigate. Ireland is part of EU. Ireland might not be part of Schengen. That's another story. But it's part of EU, so should be an easy job. Anyway, thanks God, now I've been called by my man and he told me, Antonio, listen, everything is fine, you should get your driving license in a month, something like this, the time that motorizzazione, that the motor office is going to take. So this is my story. I wanted to also make you aware that it's a constant thing in Italy, anyway, to have issues with the bureaucracy. Actually, I should make more and more videos about the bureaucracy. This is what is shocking me, because we are in 2025 and with all these digitalization processes, there should be an easy communication. Now, if I have two countries in EU, what is this EU if these two countries are not connected? I mean, help me to explain me, because what is the EU for if there's no connection? I got a check from my previous job in Ireland that they had to pay me some extra money, they sent me the check. I went to the bank, now it's more than a week that they haven't lodged this money, because they need to check, I don't know, I mean, we are all part of the same institution, we are all part of EU, and banks are not connected. I mean, I'm a bit shocked, to be honest, in 2025, with such a high level of digitalization. Anyway, these are things that keep shocking me. Anyway, someone else says, it might be easier to see if you can change the British license. It might be easier to see if you can change the British license. I don't know if it is possible, but if it is, it might be quicker. I mean, this is what she's trying to do, to convert. Yeah, lose the old British license and get a new one with the city of birth. I mean, I find this comment under the post nonsense. I mean, why he should change. And then if he's gonna make a new driving license, they're not gonna put on the driving license the town, the city where he was born. I don't know, I mean, they think they make only one type of driving license in UK, and probably if you are watching this video from UK, let me know if under the voice place of birth there's only written the country like United Kingdom, or there's also written United Kingdom and Manchester, for example, and London or Bristol or any town, I don't know. And then who wrote the comment reply, yes, yes I am, all his official documents including the just arrived permesso di soggiorno, the info about my husband match. The only problem is the driving license where the city of birth is not specified. It only says United Kingdom. And we have been in contact with Tu Scuola Guida, Motorizzazione, and everyone said. Anyway, should be an easy problem to solve, because if they told you you need this concordanze dati, this data that has to match from the British Embassy in Italy, just contact the British Embassy in Italy, they should be able to provide you this paper, and with this paper then you get your Italian driving license. So all British licenses have the address and the city on them. Why hasn't yours? Okay, now this is interesting because but this is an Italian writing that all the driving license in UK has also the city where he was born. Contact DVLA, and why have you waited so long? They have the country of birth and city and the city of address on them, not the city of birth, incorrectly requested in this case. Okay, so who wrote the comment referred the address and the city where they have the domicile, I mean, not where there is the date of birth. Now DVLA, what's DVLA? I think has to be the British Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency. Yes, so it's like the motor office in UK. Alright, then someone else says the official post-Brexit UK-Italy driving license exchange agreement sets out exactly what documents and information is required for exchange, and the city of birth is not required. For example, now a person has investigated and he find out that it's not required the place where he was born on the to exchange is not one of to exchange the driving license. The place where he was born, the birth, is not required. More importantly for you, Article 13 specifically states that any request for information must be made directly to the DVLA by the motorizzazione themselves and not be requested from the applicant. So the Italian motorizzazione should contact the DVLA and request themselves. Here are the links to the official agreement, first link in English and second link in Italian, print out and so on. So there were no, okay, there were some replies under. Then the author of the comment say, thank you. So far we have contacted 2 different scuola guida, school driving license, and a small motorizzazione office based in our town. As you suggested, I went with agreement and showed them 2 key points, but I have given up trying to talk to these people. Again, you might find someone at the desk who has his own opinion, that doesn't know all the regulation, and they might just say, no, you need this. So, it honestly is like hitting a brick wall. I will just go directly to the Motorizzazione central office. We have now the response from the British Embassy, which will show them this says exactly what you just said. Then having to contact the DVLA, and they won't release anything. Anyway, situation, you see, it's a bit messy. Then there is another reply. I'm so glad that you raised this with the British Embassy, as that document is an official treaty signed and ministerial level after a year of negotiating the agreement. Okay, now it's going very in the details. Another one say, I refer to Italy, my native country, like a beautiful rose, but with too many thorns, with a truly Byzantine and archaic bureaucratic system. Yes, paradise not of this earth. Okay, this is interesting, this comment, because anyway, this person is Italian. Now, if Italy could be a paradise, this is what I'm always trying to say. Unfortunately, she said, with this truly Byzantine and archaic bureaucratic system, we won't go far, for example. And this is the problem, and that's why she said paradise is not of this earth. Someone said, excellent analogy, and another one said, thank you. Anyway, I like this analogy. Truly Byzantine and archaic bureaucratic system. And we are in 2025. We pretend to be extremely digitalized, extremely super technological. I think we are very, very far from being efficient. And someone says, go to UK and get international license with city of birth. Okay, this is interesting, not about, it's not the idea to go to UK and convert your driving license. I mean, but it's interesting about the international license, which, for example, most of the Americans are applying before they're moving to Italy, because like this they can drive at least 12 months, because you see, anyway, for the Europeans, for the EU citizens, you can easily exchange your driving license. For the British, it's not that much complicated. It's still recognized, anyway, convertible, but for an American, for example, cannot convert. So you have this international license, which gives you the right to drive for 12 months, but then you have to apply for the Italian driving license from scratch. Let me read the replies to this comment. There is no such thing as an international driving license, sadly. And someone says, we are in Australia and just paid for an international driver's license through the RAC, Royal Automobile Club. Try similar in the UK. We have to have that to drive in Italy, and it's valid for 12 months. I don't think you can transfer your UK's driver's license to an Italian one. No, they can. It's simply, they simply can. British, they can still convert their British driving license with an Italian like the EU. These are the agreements, even post-Brexit agreements, they still allow. And then she said, I know Australians, they can't. Certainly in the UK, an international driving license does not exist. People get confused with the IDP, International Driving Permit, which is simply a translation of the details on the UK driving license. Exactly. That's what they asked probably to me. The translation of the details of my Irish driving license, but she was thinking, this woman at the desk, that Ireland is part of UK. That's why she got confused, but come on, these are very, very extremely basic things. So we also have in New Zealand, if we wish to travel, quite different from Australia and New Zealand then. What a boom, you correct the look, we only get a permit to just a translation. Is that okay? Now let me read one more comment. Now, if your British driving license is missing your place of birth and you need to correct it, you can contact the Driving and Vehicle Licensing Agency, the DVLA. Here's what you can do. First, check the details, ensure that the place of birth is indeed missing or incorrect. Sometimes the format might list only the country of birth. Reach out the DVLA through their official website or helpline. They will guide you on the process to amend your license. You might need to submit proof of your place of birth, such as a birth certificate or passport, along with your current driving license. I mean, that's the thing. That's exactly what this person needs, just to show his birth certificate and the passport and the driving license. That's it. I mean, then number 4, if required, send your license back to the DVLA with a note explaining the correction needed. Once the DVLA processes your request, they will issue a corrected license. I think probably they simply I think the British driving license simply does not write the place of birth where there is nationality. Anyway, there's the address, but no, when it's about the place of birth, they just write the nation, UK. So one said, your problem is with the British, not the Italians. He has been issues with a UK license in a non-standard format, which I don't believe, and that is why you are having the problem. There is a process for requesting his UK license reissue with the correct information. I don't think. Now I just want to see a sample of UK driving license, and let's see. UK driving license. For example, there is the address. No, where there is date of birth, there is only the date of birth and United Kingdom. There's no town in the in the British driving license. So, but I see another one, for example, from Northern Ireland that say not the country, but it says the town, Belfast. I see some are showing, and I think they're all correct. Anyway, I don't think. Date of birth, someone says Scotland, another one say United Kingdom. Place of birth, they just said the nation, they don't say the town. Only for the Northern Irish, I see it's written Belfast, if they were born in Belfast. They don't write Northern Ireland. Alright, my friends, so I hope you have enjoyed this video, a bit particular, you know, about the driving license and the bureaucracy that you might face here in Italy, which unfortunately is one of the problems that we all have to face. If you go on this group, Expats Living in Italy, 90% of the posts are about the Italian bureaucracy. And that's where Italy fails badly. Anyway, and there's also not only Italy, I mean, we failed, but also there's no communication. I can understand with United States, with Australia, that are not part of EU, but then my question is, what is EU if there's not even a communication between the EU countries? Now, okay, UK is not anymore part of EU, but I had this issue from 2 EU countries. So, again, okay, my friends, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I see you here tomorrow on YouTube, Italy A Place to Love YouTube channel for my daily video. See you soon, bye!